I'm Griledchikenman. Thank you for joining me today, and apologize. I'm looking for the pancake syrup. I think I'm in the wrong cabinet, or maybe I'm in the wrong building. Yeah, I think I'm in the wrong building. Anyway, welcome back to Grilled's Garage. We have our Smith 1500 that we have been restoring, and in the last episode, we picked this bad boy up and we ripped the engine out. And we are in the process of rebuilding the engine from scratch. So today we're going to continue that, and we're going to put all the rest of the pieces back on the engine. We're going to get it back in the car, and we're going to take it on a few test runs just to see what else we need to fix on it. So let's go ahead and get started with the engine. Let's go ahead and put all of the external pieces back on it. So as you can see, we have a lot of pieces still to put on here. So we'll start off with the big one, the exhaust manifold right here. During our little break between episodes, I decided to go out and buy all the parts that I need for this. And we had a few extra ones sitting around in the warehouse that I picked up too, with the intake manifold here. There we go. And we'll go ahead and slap our carburetor on. And now we have to put the air filter. What it says right there, air filter. So let's go ahead and put our base on. And then we need the actual filter itself. And then we need the cover. Look at that. That looks nice. It does, it does. Alright, so now let's work on the front here. We've got to put all these pulleys on. Crankshaft and all that stuff. So, let's go ahead and get the crankshaft on. And we'll put the water pump on. There we go. Let's see. We got to put these metallic arms on, the brackets that our power steering pump and alternator will hook to. So here's our power steering pump and the bracket for it. And the alternator's around the other side over here. We need another arm for that. There we go. Here's our alternator. Have our alternator attached. And we'll put our water pump pulley on too. And there we go. We got all our pulleys on the front. So now we have to put our belt on, because the crankshaft pulley here is going to turn all of these other pulleys. So we're going to put the first belt on. As you can see, it has two slots here for two belts, because it turns two belts. And one belt turns the power steering pump, this one right here. And the other belt turns the alternator and the water pump. So very, very simple engine before they put all of that fancy stuff in there that all the newer vehicles have in them. And most of this you can't even see anymore because they cover it up with plastic. And we'll put our radiator fan on, which I actually have one of those in my warehouse. Better quality radiator fan. This blows cool air across the radiator to help it cool down. But yeah. So there we go. Now we can get the stuff on this side done. We have the ignition coil, which is going to fit right there. And then we have our fuel pump, which does exactly what it says it does. It pumps the fuel into the engine. And we have our ignition distributor, which distributes the spark, or the electrical current, through the spark plugs here. And we're going to put our cap on, and we're going to put our ignition wires on. There we go. So there we go. We have all of our electrical components ready. And then we're going to put our oil filter on. We've already got our oil pan on. And I believe that's pretty much everything except for the flywheel and the clutch right here, which I have actually not bought the parts for that yet. So we'll go ahead and buy the parts for that and put it on. Fairly simple. There's not different types of those in this game. So we're going to go to gearbox. We need a clutch plate, a pressure plate, a bearing, and the flywheel. Now that we have all those, we can install it right here. There's our flywheel, and I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what we're doing. Clutch plate goes on top of the flywheel, and the pressure plate goes on top of the clutch plate. Now, I would love to see what tool he's using to get this these screws in right here. That's impressive. And then we got to put our release bearing on this with the gearbox attaches to. And there we go. We have one fully built engine, brand new. Every single part in it is brand spanking new. So there we go. So now we can take it off of the crate, and we can reinstall it back into the engine block if we so choose. But we have a few other things we need to do before we can crank this thing up and get it running. We have a few other things we have to replace. The radiator needs to be replaced. It looks like it's in pretty poor condition, so we're going to remove that. I don't know what kind of condition the battery is in. Looks like it's in okay condition, but it could be better. And the brake servos here, looks like it's in pretty rough condition, so we'll replace that as well. Yeah, it's in really bad condition. And one other thing that we're probably going to have to replace on it, that's actually in the back, is the fuel pump. Right here. There we go. Here's our fuel tank. Here's our fuel pump. It looks like the fuel tank's in pretty bad condition too. So we'll just replace both of those as well. So once we get all of these replaced, we should be able to get the car, or crank the truck up, put it on the test track, see how the suspension looks, and go from there. Yeah. So first things first, let's make ourselves a list. No, that's the list. I don't need to look at the list. I need to make a list. There we go. So we need a radiator, brake servo, fuel pump, and fuel tank. There we go. And then we can bring up our little list of things that we need. And let's see, brake servo. There's our brake servo, radiator. Now, all that should be under the engine. So we got to go to the F's for fuel, because this list is in alphabetical order. So here we go, fuel pump, and fuel tank, and then we have to go down to the R's to get the radiator. Radiator C is what we need. There we go. Now we have all the parts we need. Let's put them back on. So we got to put the fuel tank on first, and the fuel pump. So here's our new fuel tank and our new fuel pump. There we go. Alright, we have that in. So let's lower it back down, put the brake servo and the radiator back in. So here's our radiator. I love how that just slides in there and it actually doesn't screw in. That's kind of funny. There we go, and our brake servo. And one other thing, I do believe I'm going to have to purchase a the exhaust as well before we can crank it up. I don't think it'll crank without the exhaust attached in the game. It's not recommended, but you can crank up a vehicle without the exhaust running to the back of the vehicle. It'll just shoot it right to the ground. So we're going to go ahead and put the engine back in. Install engine into the car. And there we go. Brand spanking new engine installed in the car. Every single piece we just built ourselves. And now let's raise it up. We're going to have to put our gearbox and everything else in here before we can crank it up, of course. So let's see, what we need a 16B gearbox. I may have one of those in my warehouse. Let me go check my warehouse real quick. So let's see here. Check the warehouse for gearboxes. Here's a gearbox. That's not the right one. That's a carburetor. These aren't really in alphabetical order in any way, shape, or form, so I'm not 100% sure what I have and what I don't have. Looks like I can sort it by name, so let's do that. And then I can just go to the G's and look at the gearboxes. Here we go. So it looks like we have a few gearboxes actually. But I don't see any 16Bs, so we don't have the gearbox we need in the warehouse, so we're going to have to buy that. So let's go ahead and buy our gearbox. We're looking for 16B right here. And I think we're going to need a drive shaft, since this is a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Alright, so here is our gearbox. Put that in. And then, well, I can actually see what I'm doing. It'll let me move. There we go. Okay, so here's our drive shaft, which I just bought as well. So we'll reattach our drive shaft. I don't know if it'll let us crank up the vehicle without exhaust on it, so we'll go ahead and put the exhaust back on it. So it looks like we need front exhaust section 16B. It has a middle muffler V8. Not really sure why it's a V8 when this is a V6, but whatever. And yeah, so rear muffler V8 OHV, middle muffler, and then the front exhaust pipe is 16 Bravo. So let's go over to our exhaust, and we're going to find our front exhaust 16B right here. And then we need our middle muffler. So here's our middle muffler. And then our rear muffler, we need this one. There we go. That should be everything we need. Now, as you can see, we're spending quite a bit of money. We've gone from about 120,000 to about 99,000, but we're gonna make it all back. So that's the plan anyway. We're gonna make all of this money back, is what we're hoping to. There's that, and then some. There's a lot of work that goes into restoring an old classic vehicle, especially one that's in this bad a shape. So, and then looks like up here, I need to get to the starter. I don't know if I bought a starter. Let's see. I got to get to that from the engine bay anyway. So there we go. We have new exhaust. Apologies for that. There we go. I don't think I have a starter for it. Let's see. What starter do I need? Just a regular old starter. Okay. We can do that. So we just need a regular old starter. Alright. There we go. Here's our starter. Of course, nobody wants to call my phone until I'm in the middle of something, right? Every time. Okay, so we have our starter, we have our drive shaft, we have our gearbox, we have our exhaust, we have a brand new engine in there. There is no reason why this thing should not crank up, except for the fact that I forgot to put oil in it. Oops. It's not going to run without that. I don't understand why you have to put oil in it in the game, but you don't have to put gas in it after I just took the gas tank out. I guess I just magically put gas in it when I put the gas tank back in there. I don't know, but it's kind of interesting. That should be enough. We'll check the dipstick, make sure we got enough oil in there. Yeah, about 3/4. That's where we want it. We don't want it to the max. I don't like to fill it to the max. Don't know if it matters in the game, but you know. Alright, let's see if we can get this sucker to crank up. There we go. Alright, so we're going to move the vehicle to the test path. And we were able to move it, so that means it should crank up. The game will not let you move the vehicle to a place like this if you cannot crank it up. So it should crank up so we can test the brakes and test the suspension. What in the world? We have a clip missing from the car. Clip where? It says clip B is missing from the car. I have no idea what it's talking about. Well then, that's interesting. Let me see. Clip B. Now where in the world would that go? I'm gonna have to find this clip. Apparently it was missing from the vehicle to begin with. I doubt it's on the engine block since we just completely rebuilt that. Shouldn't be on the brake servo either. We just replaced all that. Some batteries have clips on them, but not many. I don't see one on that. So, well, let's see. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase a clip B. And then I'm going to go into the install menu and see if I can see where it goes from there. Alright. Normally, these kind of clips go on air filter covers, batteries, things like that. But I'm not really sure where this one's supposed to be going. So, let's see. Where in the world could it go? We may have to do some more looking around in this thing. Let's see, there shouldn't be any clips down here. I have to put the car on a lifter to get anything else to work. Oh, that is interesting. Oops, and we're missing a missing a driver's seat too. Let me see. Guess I need to buy a seat for this car. Maybe the clip goes under the seat? I don't know. I'm not real sure. Let me see. Let's see. Interior disassembled. No. Seat 3, leather B. So we could actually go ahead and buy another one, and maybe I doubt that'll fix it. So we want to go to. We're gonna have to go to body parts here. I don't know if it'll actually be in body. Actually, no, it probably won't be in the body. I believe there's an actual one for the interior. Yeah, here we go, interior. So I think we're looking for leather. I wonder if the bench seat would fit in there better. I don't know if we can even do that, so it could definitely be something we try. Seat 1, leather B. Seat, I don't remember which one it was first. So let's see. Seat 3, leather B. Okay. So seat 3, leather B. We'll just go ahead and buy 2 of those. Why not? Get some brand new seats in the car. Alright. So let's put that in and just see what happens. Okay. There's 1 and 2. Alright. So we want normal mode. And let's close the doors. And close the hood. We're going to find this clip. We will definitely find this clip. So, but yeah, I'm not quite sure where it will be at. It shouldn't be in the interior anywhere. It shouldn't be a place for that at all. Let's see. Well, it cranks up just fine. Yeah, and it runs nice. That sounds really nice. The interior of this vehicle looks very nice too. I don't think it's going to need a lot of work, to be honest. Besides the seats. But yeah, everything else in it looks pretty nice. Oops, well, we don't want to drive it just yet. Alright. Well, we know it cranks up. So, we need to figure out where this clip goes. And let me see. So this is kind of where the detective work in the game comes from, and what kind of behooves of you to actually know a little bit about vehicles to begin with. So like I said, a lot of the newer vehicles, those clips hold the plastic covers on air filters, and some clips on older vehicles hold the battery, but I don't see any place to put clips on the battery, so I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say it doesn't go on the battery. I don't see anything on the radiator, so let's see. I'm just going to keep looking. This is probably something very, very simple. Probably something that I wasn't paying attention to and forgot to do. Which is very easy to do in this game. But anyway, so we've got the engine put back in. I think this will be a good place to stop for today. I'm going to see if I can keep hunting down this clip. Because honestly, that doesn't seem like that would be a whole lot of fun to watch. At least for me, anyway. But yeah, so I'm going to see if I can find this clip. And then we'll put this thing on the test track afterwards and see what we can get it to do. But yeah, so we have our truck and it runs. We were able to crank it up. It runs just fine. We got some new leather seats in there, really nice looking leather seats. The interior looks pretty good considering. So we will get the clip in there and we'll get it on the test track, and we'll figure it out from there. As you can see, this is to test the brakes. We're going to test the front brakes and the rear brakes, and then we're going to test the front suspension and rear suspension. And that's going to tell us the things we need to replace. Although, honestly, when we were up underneath the vehicle, you could pretty much see everything that needed to be replaced on it. So, yeah. I think it's going to turn out pretty nice. So, but alright. So, yeah. Oh, and one other thing. Look at how much our value has gone up just from rebuilding the engine and everything. We bought it for $14,000, and it is almost up to $30,000 now. Once we replace all of the suspension, we'll probably be able to get about $40,000 off of this vehicle. I wouldn't doubt it in the slightest. So, but yeah, we will keep hunting down the clip, and thank you all very much for watching this second episode, and really looking forward to continuing restoring this vehicle to its former glory. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, keep laughing.